Now, today we're being joined by Kunle Fakiyesi. He served as president of ANNS from 2017 to 2019, and during his tenure, Kunle oversaw a remarkable expansion in active membership and set in motion systems that helped the association thrive.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is a night of celebration. Tonight, we celebrate the growth within our community.
In these conversations, we will hear about the lessons he learned, the challenges he faced, and the wisdom he has for members today, especially on the importance of staying engaged and supporting the association. All right, Kunle, you're welcome to the studio 2026 election studio, and it's no better time to have you here.
Thank you, Promise. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. I was privileged to be around when you were still president of the ANNS, and I remember that event at the Dalhousie University. Your agbada was stunning, beautiful.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
But let's start from there. You had quite a good number of people who supported the, your leadership, who helped you succeed. What was it like really having people show up and participate in community events such as the one you had that time?
It was great, actually. Then we were just at the beginning of, trying to really expand the Association of Nigerians in Nova Scotia and bring it from relative obscurity to, a more prominent place in the general larger community.
You guys want to tell me a little bit about yourselves and what your jobs entail within the association?
My name is Kunle Fakiyesi. I am the president of the Association of Nigerians in Nova Scotia, and I have with me my colleague here.
My name is Akitunde Odeni. I'm the treasurer of the association.
So today we are here to talk about Nigeria Week 2018.
So a lot of people were very excited about the plans we had, and we were able to clearly communicate those plans. And we also were able to show people how we wanted to, achieve those plans. And because of that, we sold the ideas to people, and they rallied around, and the support was massive. It was great. And we were able to accomplish quite a bit.
And for now, I think we have a number that is much higher than what you control at the time as the president of the association. How do you think people who took after you, or leaders, subsequent leaders, should use that number to the advantage of the association?
Well, first of all, how are they gathering the numbers, right? So data it depends on how you slice and dice it. We have a lot of Nigerians here, way more than we had in 2018 or 2019. But then they are more dispersed, and they are not necessarily as cohesive as they were, especially in the light of recent developments. So anyone coming into the leadership of the association now must have to really go out of their way to figure out, a creative way to bring people together, to get that information from them, to get the numbers, and to keep them engaged. That's the most important thing. You need to keep people engaged.
Keep people engaged.
And make them see the value
Absolutely.
in belonging to the association.
I totally agree with you. I mean, what was this motivation behind the work you did at that time, the people who worked with you? Because you obviously had an exco. What was the motivating factor at that time that you want the current leaders to know?
So I think at that time when we came in, we realized that we had a lot of Nigerians here, and people were doing great things even back then, but people were doing things in different pockets, right? And really, just like the African adage says, if you take a piece of broom, it's really easy to break it apart, but the entire bunch is very difficult to break apart. So we figured, if we have all these people doing great things, why don't we bring them all to the center and have everyone contribute meaningfully to something that we can all be proud of? So that was our motivation, and that was exactly what we did. And people brought their talents, they brought their expertise to the center, and a lot of people were selfless, in showcasing what they could offer, and we were able to put all that together for the benefit of everyone.
I believe selflessness would be the key word here, because this is not a paid position for you and your members.
It isn't, yeah.
So one would be saying, okay, if I get in there, I'll probably be expecting to get a paycheck at the end of the month or bi-weekly of some sort. what will be your message for anyone who is vying for an office today in the ANNS executive, for whatever reasons anyway, that they need to straighten up their expectations and so that they don't get disappointed? What will be your message around there?
Well, my message for anyone that's running for office is, first of all, do a very honest self-assessment of yourself and ask yourself, do you have the time, to commit to serving the people? You must serve and really serve selflessly, because it's something you have to be built for. You have to have the heart of a servant, and you also have to be able to give without expecting anything in return. And when we're talking about give, I'm not even talking about money or financial resources, mainly your time.
Your time.
Your time, your attention, your emotions.
Right.
Because you need to serve the people with the whole of your being.
The entire being,
if you are the
right.
president, if you are the welfare officer, you are going to get all kinds of phone calls from people. And at the end of the day, it's the things that are considered boring, the things that are considered non-glamorous, the things that many people don't even think of when they run for office. Those are the things that actually keep the association running.
Right.
Setting up meetings, documenting the minutes of meetings, following up on commitments to make sure they are done, and all those things. A lot of people don't think about that. Many of your constituents, they only remember you during the barbecue and the parties and all the fun engagements. But during the intervening period, you have to come up with a strategy to make sure you have the staying power to consistently chip away at the little tasks that will make you a great and effective leader.
Absolutely. As a leader, like you ended that statement, and from that standpoint, being a good leader, it also requires having the right followership, right?
Yes.
So how do you get people engaged? How do you get people committed? How do you make people keep going with you and not step back?
Well, I think it starts with you casting the right vision, right? So people follow a leader that seems to know where he or she is going.
Right.
As we would say where we come from, follow who know road. Right. So first of all, anyone coming in to the leadership of ANNS must have a clear vision of where he or she wants to take the people. Once the vision is clear, once the vision has been well articulated, then coming during this election period is a great time to sell the idea to the people. And the people are going to listen, because this is one of the times in the life of the association where you have the greatest engagement.
Right.
During the election period, a lot of people are looking out to see who's going to run for president, who's going to run for vice president, and all the other elected positions. You roll out your ideas, you sell those ideas, and then be willing to actually take it a step further. It's one thing to say all these nice things, during the manifesto, during the campaign. Make sure that you actually have a plan to follow up. What value are you bringing to the people? What value are you delivering? The current excos, the outgoing, if you will, excos, for instance.
That's if at all they want to go.
If at all they want to go, right? They I think they have done a decent job, especially with engaging people outside of the Halifax regional municipality. With the meet and greets they've had in different parts of the province. A lot would have gone into organizing those events and putting them together. But here's the thing: when they do things like that, people feel connected, people feel engaged, people want to be a part of the association. So those are the types of things that you need to do to bring people in. Encourage people to volunteer and recognize them. Make sure they are seen, make sure they are heard. Make sure, even if it's just a phone call to say thank you, even if it's a text message, make sure that people feel valued. As long as people feel valued, more people will come up to contribute.
Right. So diversity has become topical. It's been front burner discussion for a lot of people within the organization, the ones who are just coming in and the ones who've been here for quite a bit. What's your take around there? How should diversity, inclusion, which is what, of course, every government preaches these days, except somewhere across the border. So how should they be looking at that aspect so that regardless of where you come from in Nigeria, you have a place on the table, not under the table? In
the context of ANNS, I will tell you that even now, that issue of diversity, inclusion, and representation is probably going to be the biggest challenge of the incoming administration, because unfortunately, because of events that have happened in the recent past, a lot of subnational entities have found voice, have found expression, elsewhere outside the association. So, and because of that, it might be a little bit challenging for whoever is coming to bring, it's almost like the horse has bolted and you're trying to bring the horses back to the stable. It's going to be an uphill task. I'm going to be honest with you, but it's not impossible.
Right.
It's not impossible. It's just a matter of sitting down and recognizing that where we come from, we are very diverse people. Everybody belongs to a certain constituency before they belong to the center, right? Even though we are projecting a united front here, but you cannot silence those individual voices.
Right.
It's going to be very difficult or near impossible to silence those individual voices. The challenge is how do you make sure that those voices are heard?
Absolutely.
How do you make sure that those voices are heard? So the methods, the systems, the logic, the constitution that got us here might not necessarily be the one that will take us forward.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
You have the new EXCO, the incoming administration, they have to take a long, hard look at the current structure and ask themselves, what can we do to improve on this structure? What kind of handshake do we want to have with the different subnational organizations? And how do we want to make sure that those are actually represented, in the decision making of the General Association going forward? Because it is when they feel represented that everyone feels they need to contribute to the center.
There's something that past leaders or presidents, just like yourself, hasn't really told us about being in that office and after you leave. And the benefit we've seen is that from your time, you left and you're a very successful businessman, by the way.
Thank you.
Other ones who took after you, they're all doing very well, including the one we had as MLA, even after leading the Association of Nigerians here. Tell me, what does this leadership actually benefit people about? Is it just connection, or is there any other thing?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't even say it's connection or benefits per se, but I would consider it a good training ground. Right. It's leadership is like being a servant. So if you are a very good servant, ultimately the people you serve will know that this person is a good servant. And if you are a good servant, you will naturally be entrusted with other bigger servant tasks, right? So being the president of the Association of Nigerians in Nova Scotia, or the vice president, or the secretary, or the welfare officer, or any other EXCO member for that matter, I think is a very good training ground for people that just want to have a better understanding of how to deal with a diverse group of people. And the guidelines are there, the blueprints are there. We have a constitution, we have a board of trustees, the governance structure is there. So anyone that wants to come in, all they need to do is, follow the template and, if necessary, modify it. It's not like there are benefits. I would even dare say that
specific benefits.
You will probably give more.
Okay.
But in the process of giving, you are learning.
Absolutely.
Tremendously.
Right.
You are learning tremendously. So, for instance, you might have to engage government organizations, maybe for grants here and there. You probably never knew anything about grant writing.
Right.
But once you go through that skill set is never going to be taken away from you.
Right. Absolutely.
For instance, you're talking about maybe you need to send out email newsletters every week or every month, as the case may be. Maybe you didn't know anything about setting up automated email messaging and so on. Once you acquire that skill set, it's not going to be taken away from you. The association has an entire suite of digital products, social media, WhatsApp, YouTube, and all that. It takes skill to manage all of that.
Right.
So if you did not have the skill, or your skills were rudimentary even before you came in,
it becomes an opportunity.
By the time you spend those 2 years, that's why I said it's really a training ground.
Right.
And it helps you hone a lot of skills, soft skills, interpersonal skills, communication skills, patience. It's going to build your patience.
Right.
Learning to take criticism and actually acting on the criticism, suppressing your emotions, suppressing your needs for the needs of the greater good, events planning, people management, and so on and so forth.
All right. We can't end this conversation without talking about the upcoming elections.
Right.
2026, just like you've touched on it earlier. From participation point of view,
Right.
what do you think people should be concerned about from those who want to lead and those who want to follow? I mean, everyone in the community.
Right.
How can that be modeled? How can people be encouraged to participate in the forthcoming elections?
Well, if you ask me, I think it's everyone should step up, and make sure they are part of this election process. You know, when it comes to elections, when it comes to choosing your leaders, like Marcani famously said recently, if you are not at the table, you are definitely on the menu.
On the menu.
So if you are consumed, you can't come back and complain because you really were not a part of the process. So the best thing we can all do for ourselves as a people in this community is to encourage everyone, anyone within your circle of influence, to please make sure they participate in the election process.
Right.
And it's very simple. All you need to do is pay your annual dues and you'll be eligible to vote or even be voted for.
Right.
So it's a civic duty, it's a civic responsibility. We need to not only learn to normalize participating in elections. I understand that, you know, sometimes because of the experiences we've had, especially in our part of the world with how elections are, we sometimes think, oh, let them just go and do their thing. But it's not the same here.
Not the same here.
And the more we participate, the bigger our community gets.
Right.
Our community, the Association of Nigerians in Nova Scotia, is a community that a lot of people look up to.
Right.
In this part of
You
the
mean
world.
the immigrant community?
A lot of other immigrant communities look up to us in this province. You know, they are looking up to us. What did the Nigerians do? How are they doing it? So for reasons like that, we cannot afford to not be a part of the process.
You can't be wrong on that statement. But lastly, just in 30 seconds, if you don't mind, for those who are stepping up and stepping into positions,
Right.
what will be your advice to them as we wrap up?
Yeah, for anyone that's stepping into, you know, that's throwing in their hat to contest, first of all, I will say thank you for offering to serve, because it's always a beautiful thing when people step up to serve. I would also say that you have all the support you need from within the organization, of the association, either from the members or people outside. Feel free to reach out to people that have walked in these shoes. You know, there's a whole lot of experience that you can tap on. You don't have to do it alone. If you want to run for president, all you need to do is, you know, talk to the current president or talk to the previous presidents and ask them, what were the challenges you had during your time? How can I make it better? Whatever role you want to, position you want to aspire to, that's what I will encourage you to do. And be selfless. Do not go into that office or contest with the expectation that you want to get something. You should go in with the expectation that you want to give.
Right.
That you want to give, and give you will. And if you give, definitely it will come back to you in multiple folds.
I love that. Thank you so much, Kunle, for
Thank you so
stopping
much.
by and sharing your
Always a
insights.
pleasure.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah, bye.
All right. So the message is clear.
Yes.
The association is bigger than any one leader, and every member has a role to play in shaping its future. We hope Kunle's story that inspired you to get involved and stay engaged, of course, help to continue the growth and the progress of our community. And remember, the nomination window for the next set of executive is still open. Just make sure that you nominate yourself or someone you believe can help move the association forward. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.